Howdy, quick tour of ArcMap. Just going to go through quickly different areas, places in ArcMap that are going to be important for different labs. One of them, left side, this is the table of contents. You have your layers. In this map view, you've got two layers visible, the states and the counties. You can uncheck layers to make them not visible. You can recheck them to make them visible again. You can click on the colors here to change the way that they are displayed. You can rearrange them by dragging them. You can do all kinds of things that you'll learn more about in the labs later on. One of the places that people get stuck is you want to make sure if you're unable to drag these around and rearrange them as you want to, you want to check and make sure that's list by drawing order. Sometimes it gets stuck on list by source where it tells you what is the source location for those. That's handy, but it doesn't let you adjust the drawing order. So if you want to drag them around, go back to list by drawing order. Right side is the catalog. Catalog is really helpful in that it tells you where all your data is coming from. And it lets you add new files into your map. So if you have your lots of things stored in your JOG 11 data folder, you could access them from there. Sometimes if you add new things to that folder and they don't show up, simply right click and refresh to make sure that all the new things in that folder is empty except for lab 1, so it is actually empty. But you could, if you had other data on your computer, you could simply drag it into the map from there. And it shows up here in California. It's kind of hard to see. Let's get a one that's easier to find. I like circle 1. That's better point symbol than the default one. The default one is pretty bad. Make it blue. Now it's easier to see. All right. Other navigation tools. Catalog is good. You can drag things in from there. That's nice. The zoom tools in this tools toolbar right here. Zoom in, that's a very common thing you're going to be doing. You can click on the map and that'll zoom. That works okay. You can hit this big blue arrow. It goes back to the previous extent. I find the best way to zoom in on stuff, so we've got CSUs. Well, let's zoom in on California for the Cal States. Is you click and then drag down, and that zooms in on the specific area. So the area that is highlighted with that box, that is exactly what the zoom is going to be. So that's a way to get very good, precise zoom ins. If you want just San Francisco Bay, cool, drag a box around it, and there you go. And then, of course, we can go back to previous extent. Zoom out tool works the same. It's a little bit less intuitive to use, but that's all right. Now, the pan tool, the hand right here, lets you move things around. So it's kind of like shifting around a piece of paper in front of you. It moves the data around on the map or in your map view. Now we want to get back to normal view. That's zoom full extent. So if you zoomed out too far and you want to get back quickly, zoom full extent, cool. Let's say you zoom in way too far. Like, okay, where is this? Ooh, that's a mistake. Zoom full extent quickly takes you back out. And then again, that pan tool, say we're zoomed in on an area and we want the same level of zoom, but a different area, that's going to be pan. And now you can move the map around like this. If you double click while panning, it will zoom in a little bit. I don't find that super useful, but yeah, it does work. Back to full extent. Fix zoom in, that's nice. Fix zoom out, same thing. Back to previous extent, we saw that. Select features. This is a very useful tool. We'll do a couple labs on this later on, but if you want to choose one thing to do more GIS processes with, you click this. You can click on something, and that gets your state and county. You can also drag a box around it to get multiple features at once. So let's say we just want things in Washington. I did pretty close to that. But you can drag a box and get specific areas. Just, there's the Columbia River and so on. And then next to that, clear selected features. So, okay, you didn't want to select all that stuff. Great, here you go. Now, when you're not doing any of that, selecting, zooming, anything, the black arrow here, select elements, that's your go-to. That should be your default arrow. Anytime you don't want to mess around with your zoom and screen, just go default, select elements arrow. That's the way to go.